Hey, fuck a fig Newton, dude. Like,
Fig Newton?
Yep, National Fig News.
I'm an Oreo man myself.
All right,
You know what I'm
all right.
saying?
All right. It's also National Religious Freedom Day.
Yeah. Fuck taxes.
I'm all about that. And it's also National Nothing Day, you guys.
That's every day, man.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Every day is nothing, and every
boy.
night is everything.
Oh man. Thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And we are going to kick this off with the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, the Quasimodo caretaker who has not been showing any Quasimodo, but nonetheless, he is still the Quasimodo caretaker. That's right. It is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Oh, yeah, Jason, thank you very much. And, school's back now. They're letting the kids back into schools here in LA, and I miss my little clone, man.
Mm-hmm.
I miss me.
All right. Your camera is looking really crisp, Rico. Looks great today.
Thanks, man. I think it's the
maybe did you exfoliate or something?
It's the full moon, bro. It's the full moon this week.
Okay, all right.
Energized and I'm glowing.
Okay, all right. Let's get it, bro. Let's get it.
Let's get into it. I got a spicy one. I can't wait to get. I cannot wait for the team to comment on this one. So, the DEA's announcement this Monday to shelve cannabis rescheduling indefinitely was the nexus moment MSO gang has been preparing for. Trump will be assuming control next week, and the Infinity Stones have all been acquired. The U.S. Cannabis Roundtable, the newly formed advocacy group, among other big names, is anchored by Cresco Labs, Curaleaf, Trulieve, and Verano. They've launched to answer U.S. cannabis industry's distress call and are prepared to push for federal marijuana reforms in the era of Trump 2.0. The organization is a merger between two major lobbying groups, the U.S. Cannabis Council and the National Cannabis Roundtable, and represents an industry employing 450,000 people with over 13,000 dispensaries in 38 states. They say that their goal is to advocate for reclassifying cannabis to a less restrictive Schedule III status and advancing the stalled Safer Banking Act, which would improve federal financial access for cannabis companies. Despite historical Republican opposition to cannabis reform, the group is optimistic due to Trump's previous support for cannabis-related measures and backing from influential pro-cannabis figures like Elon Musk and Joe Rogan. Chairman Charlie Bechtel of Cresco Labs highlights the slow progress at the federal level and sees the merged group as a unified authority to educate and advocate and for all. However, opposition remains from groups like Smart Approaches for Marijuana. That's the only opposition they have left. The cannabis sector has struggled financially, with key ETFs dropping significantly in value over the past year. With the American cannabis industry's future on the line, the U.S. Cannabis Roundtable says that they are our only hope.
Oh, God.
What do you guys think? I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News. I've eaten all my popcorn already this week, so I can't pop it right now, but I cannot wait to hear from the rest of the team on this one.
I feel like we need to make some High at 9 News popcorn available in our store now after all this, Rico.
We should, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like delusions of grandeur.
Exactly.
These guys are going to come on the white horse and save us.
Yeah.
When everybody at the federal level is shooting at us, and the DEA doesn't want this to happen, and they have tremendous administrative power to just pull the plugs on this shit. He told the judge to go fuck himself. They weren't going to do what he told him to do.
Yeah.
So the whole thing went on the calendar, and it's like now we've drugged the DEA into court several times, and the big victory is they're told to go back and, approve this and go to the next step. So they're used to just dragging this out and delaying it. And how you're going to fix that, I think Trump may need to come in and just overturn the apple cart
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Dill. I can't believe the egos on these people that they think that they're God's gift to cannabis all of a sudden, and all of a sudden that they're the only ones that can get anything done, because the reality, they've been extremely ineffective at every single stage of the process, and now all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh, we're God's gift to weed, and da-da-da-da-da, and you guys can't do this without us. They're all full of shit.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Trump's in office, man.
That's right. Trump's just going to get the job done and just tell them to go screw themselves.
Hold on, let me finish. The MSOs are the ones that will bend the knee, and they will kiss the ass of Donald Trump. So they might be moving forward. The rest of the industry,
stop the ridiculous. Stop the ridiculousness.
The rest of our industry historically questions authority, and will historically has been in a position to fight back against pretty much all things authority. These motherfuckers are ready to get down. And
I'm not sold under the impression that Trump is in favor of Schedule 3. I think once he understands how that works and the implications on that, he'd be totally against it personally.
Oh, you know the easiest way to get Donald Trump to change on anything is just to kiss his ass. These motherfuckers are fuckered up already. They are ready.
The best way to get Donald Trump to change on any position is to bring reasonable arguments that actually have substance and value, and he is open to always changing his mind in regards to.
Who started this whole TikTok?
You don't ever remember? You never watched The Apprentice, Rico?
Hold on. Who started this whole banning of TikTok thing?
And I'm all favor of the ban of TikTok.
Donald Trump is not.
I'm all in favor of the ban of TikTok, bro. I ain't got no problem with that. I'm all down with that.
Hey, Donald Trump is not about that. He's been on every side.
Anything that allows China.
He's been on every side of every issue, and the thing that moves the needle, gets him to change sides, is money. And these motherfuckers have the money to do that. The rest of the industry does not, and they are going to be representing us. And they said that they are our only hope to fight back against Project Sam.
Anything that allows China to be able to extrapolate information from Americans, I have a problem with. Yeah,
I like that word.
Mm-hmm. Extrapolate, yes.
I might note that these are the same group that I listed yesterday that have 60 to 90% of the debt coming due in the next 2 years.
Oh yeah,
follow the money. Follow the money, Dale.
Yep.
Figure out a way to do something here, because they are up to their ass in debt, and they lost their ass in Florida.
Yeah, they did.
We're just trying to get on the radar to get somebody to throw some money, buy their worthless goddamn stock or something.
Hey, Dale, follow the money. They're gonna get bailed. They're gonna get bailed out. All they got to do is make a quick trip to Mar-a-Lago, kiss the ring, and
they're not even gonna have to go to Mar-a-Lago pretty soon. They're just gonna have to go to Pennsylvania Avenue.
You're gonna have everybody staying on Kim Rivers' couch.
She's gonna have a slumber party.
Schedule 3 is a disaster. I mean, do they understand they're not going to get a Schedule 3 license?
They think they're going to sell out. They think they're going to sell out their whole operations to one of these big pharma companies that will get a Schedule 3 license deal. That's what their hopes are, is a big payout at the end from big pharma, and that's why they're pushing this narrative.
That's always been the point, right? And that's always been what you have to do before federal legalization goes through, just in case it's some fuckery like Schedule 3, right? You're either building an acquirable asset or you're building something that's going to sustain. If you can't build something that's going to sustain, you build the biggest goddamn acquirable asset that you can build. And that's what they're doing with these ridiculous number of stores.
Yeah,
Rachelle, can I get a quick comment from you on this, on the assembling of the Dark Avengers?
Yeah.
I don't see how anybody was surprised by this collusion. That's all.
Oh, collusion! I like that, Rachelle. Look at that. She's she's calling it collusion. Look at that.
Called the conspiracy.
It's the cannabis collusion.
Cannillusion.
Oh man, you guys are funny. You guys are funny this morning, man. Stone, what do you think, Stone?
I'm just wondering if the Trump's team of the efficiency team is going to come in and see how efficient all this shit is.
100%. 100%. This is going to be kicking ass and taking numbers. You know what I'm saying? Going to have a rolling station set up that is only efficient. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be all about memes.
Oh man. You guys.
Doge is superpower.
Fair enough. We are going to roll into our first commercial, and we are going to be right back, you guys. I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down.
We are living in bizarro world, and I'm loving every second of it.
We're back already, huh? Oh, all right, fair enough. We didn't finish
we
the
are
commercial,
back like
but okay, all right.
We are back like we left something. And up next is the High 9 News head honcho, and he may or may not be the U.S. Cannabis Roundtable's very own Roger Stone. Here to break us off with our second story of the day, Jason Beck.
Oh man, you guys, you are funny, so funny, Rico, so funny. Well, I'll tell you what. My story is all about Florida. You guys were just talking about Florida. Well, here we go. We're going back to Florida because that's right. A new adult use marijuana proposal emerges in Florida with high hopes of appearing on the 2026 ballot, you guys. That's right. 2 months after a similar measure failed to garner enough voter support to pass, a political committee bankrolled by the state's largest medical marijuana company has launched a new effort to allow adult use cannabis in Florida, you guys. The revamped proposal, filed on Tuesday at the State Division of Elections by that's right, Smart and Safe Florida Committee, would go on the 2026 ballot. It seeks to address a number of issues raised by Governor Ron DeSantis, who led a drive to defeat last year's proposed constitutional amendment. A majority of voters backed what appeared on the November 5th ballot as Amendment 3, but adult use marijuana proposal fell shy of the 60% approval required for passage. DeSantis' chief of staff, James Udelheimer, chaired 2 political committees that campaigned against the pot measure and a separate ballot initiative that would have enshrined abortion rights in the state's constitution. The revamped adult use marijuana measure, like its predecessor, would allow adults ages 21 and older to purchase and possess marijuana, but it differs from the 2024 proposal in some ways. It appears that the sponsors of the amendment have attempted to address in this new language concerns raised by those opposed to the amendment. Jim McKee, an attorney who represents medical marijuana companies, told the News Service of Florida and says, as an example, DeSantis repeatedly argued that the 2024 initiative would have prohibited the legislature from regulating where marijuana could be used, and an argument disputed by proponents of the measure. And the new version says that, in quotes, smoking and vaping of marijuana in any public place is prohibited. The proposal also would prohibit, in quotes, marketing and packaging of marijuana in a manner attractive to children. Another one of DeSantis's concerns, you guys. In a quote, they say, I think this is good news. Paula Scaviccio, an attorney who specializes in cannabis law, said. And on Wednesday, during a phone interview with the news service, she says in a quote, I think it's really smart that they did address the issues that he did have. And so hopefully he's more receptive to something like this in the future. Florida voters back in 2016 approved a constitutional amendment that broadly allowed medical marijuana, but the amendment did not allow adult use of cannabis. And Quincy-based Trulieve, the state's largest medical marijuana company, pumped more than $144 million into last year's adult use cannabis effort, and it contributed more than 94% of the overall total, which was $152.27 million for a losing initiative by the Smart and Safe Florida Committee. The proposal filed on Tuesday seeks to dispel the governor's critique of part of the 2024 proposal that would have allowed Trulieve and the state's other medical marijuana companies to start selling euphoria-inducing cannabis to anyone in Florida, including tourists ages 21 and older, mirroring the 2024 proposal. The revised measure would allow the state's current operators, known as medical marijuana treatment centers, to sell adult use marijuana, but the initiative also would require lawmakers to, in quotes, adopt legislation for the licensure and regulation of licensed marijuana entities that don't sell medical cannabis. The proposal also says that the new entities shall not be required to comply with state law that requires medical marijuana companies to handle all aspects of the cannabis trade, a process known as vertical integration, requiring companies to grow, process, and sell marijuana and cannabis-derived products. The proposal would open the door to wholesaling marijuana to the new entities, according to Schafer. And in a quote, they say, "We're one of really the only established markets in the country that doesn't have a wholesale market. So I think it would be really, really good for the industry and for the patients and customers to be able to reap the benefits of a wholesale market, because then we'll have other groups coming in and have a better variety of products," she said. Well, not if you're not issuing standalone cultivation licenses, but whatever. With more than 150 retail locations throughout Florida, Trulieve sells more than a third of all medical marijuana products in the state, and the company did not comment when contacted by the news service on Wednesday. DeSantis targeted contributions by Trulieve, which is publicly traded on the Canadian stock market, as he fought the proposed amendment, and he argued that the proposal's passage would cement the company's monopoly on the cannabis market in Florida. In a quote, he says, "I don't think there's even been one company that's put in this much money for one ballot measure in all of American history. And so the only way they can justify that is because this amendment is going to guarantee them a massive profit stream," DeSantis said at a rally-style event days before the November election. DeSantis took unprecedented steps to shoot down the POP proposal and the abortion rights measure, blitzing the state and the airwaves and using taxpayer funds on public service announcements. The governor on Monday called a special legislative session that could include making changes in laws about the process for gathering and submitting petitions to get proposed constitutional amendments on the ballot. And DeSantis contends that the process has included fraud. And while DeSantis hasn't proposed legislation, changes could make it harder for Smart and Safe Florida to amass the hundreds of thousands of petition signatures that would be needed to get on the ballot this time. The special session is scheduled to start on January 27th though legislative leaders have balked at holding it. Nearly 900,000 patients are enrolled in the state's medical marijuana system, and the revived adult use cannabis effort comes as the state health regulators are poised to nearly double the number of licensed medical marijuana companies, currently at 27. The Department of Health last year issued letters of intent to award licenses to 22 applicants, which would bring the total number of operators to 49. And the new licenses are on hold amid legal and administrative challenges to the state's selections. The new proposed constitutional amendment would allow companies to acquire, cultivate, possess, transport, and sell marijuana to adults for personal use at any of their dispensaries existing as of January 1st, 2025, and at any dispensing facilities thereafter approved by the department. The plan also would allow adults over the age of 21 to possess up to 2 ounces of marijuana and an ounce less than what would have been permitted under last year's proposal. In a quote, they say, "I think that this is positive for the industry, and I do hope that this passes," Schafer said. Well, another, one thing that they didn't address throughout this whole process is the fact of these cannabis companies having absolutely zero civil or liability whatsoever for any bad products they put out, making themselves immune from any type of litigation. And so I noticed that Governor DeSantis brought that up, but that was not brought up in this new proposed legislation. So obviously they're still trying to, just sell you whatever the hell that they produce. And I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
I think that, they're doing what they can to go down this list that the itty bitty lift boot committee gave them reasons why.
I see what you did there.
Want that to go through, but I think the bigger reason he didn't want to go through was the $5 million that he received from the hemp industry. And I don't think that that's going to overcome what they're doing now. Is not going to overcome that. So good luck, Florida.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This could be it's led by Trulieve again, and this could be tied to my story too. Maybe the U.S. Cannabis Council will give them that extra boost. And
the U.S. Cannabis Council ain't got no money like that. Stop the ridiculousness.
All you gotta do is go kiss the ring, man. I'm telling you.
You better just go and look at their financial reports, bro.
Mar-a-Lago right down the street.
Mar-a-Lago is right down the street, that part.
None of these people want to deal with the reality that few a number of dispensaries in the state means the black market's just making bank and burying their money.
Well,
why don't people bring that out and say, if you keep being restrictive, like we're building a fucking nuclear reactor here and not letting people do what they want to do, the black market's just flourishing. I mean, people are smart enough to understand that. If you squeeze a balloon one place, it's going to pop out someplace else, and the black market's happy to take your money.
Yep.
Why would they want to support legalization? They're making money. But if you're looking at public health, you have no idea what's in those products the black market's selling.
Yep.
And we have problems out here with contaminants, biologicals, and chemicals, and even with rules in place.
Whether those chemicals are in the Florida weed, though, Dale, they're not going to be liable under civil or criminal penalty.
I know it's all criminal stuff. I get it.
Did they say in the article anywhere how much money that they're putting into this? They lost 170.
That's what I'm saying.
Million.
I wonder. Man, they definitely didn't make any commitment of how much they're willing to put in. But and I don't think that they should make any type of commitment as far as financially until they actually do see what the new rules are to get something on the ballot that the legislature is going to be doing on the 27th.
I mean, when was their last board meeting, man? Like, I want to know who's on the board. Who's approving of it?
Oh, man, to be a fly on the wall for that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is America.
It is.
Trump is back in office. Anything's possible.
That's right, bro. That's right. It's America. Any thoughts on this, Rachelle? You gonna smoke some Florida weed? Florida sunshine?
It's just interesting. I'm just curious, how much money is going to go into this next effort, because that was pretty aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
what else could be done with that money?
They blew a whole load, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. What do you got to say? Whoa. What do you got to say about this, Jenny Beth?
I mean, they could do a lot of things with the money, like put measures into place that protect their staff so people don't fucking die, or
that part.
People's families for the employees that have died, or
pay for their funerals, huh?
Buy a bigger kitchen table. I'm not sure, Jason.
Oh man,
well, pay off their debts.
Hey,
also pay their vendors. That would be helpful too.
True Leave is the Drake of the cannabis industry.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that they're advocating for this whole wholesale market, but I didn't see anything about them mentioning new cultivation licenses. And so basically the only thing that you're going to be able to wholesale is going to be the booth that they're already peddling out of their stores. And so I don't really see how that's going to benefit patients or the consumer overall, because you're not getting anything new into the market space except for new packaging.
Well, it's not supposed to, Jason. It's supposed to protect their monopoly on cannabis in the state of Florida.
I get it. I get it. I'm just stating the obvious for anyone that didn't understand.
Okay. It's ironic that you're the one doing that, but okay.
I mean, I do that all the time for people, Jenny Beth. It's part of my job.
Yeah, all right.
He's Captain Obvious, right, Jenny?
You guys.
I just love the chaos, man. Like everybody's just getting all gaslit once again. Ain't
so
shit
good.
Gonna happen.
I love a good
Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. We're gonna be in the same fucking place.
Mm-hmm. I love
tomorrow
as
we were yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer. Dale has been an attorney since the Reagan administration. He has represented physicians, hospitals, insurance companies, cops, correction officers, and for the last 25 years, he has specialized in cannabis law. He served a 5-year federal prison sentence for helping medical marijuana patients and managed to save his law license. And he was also helping out those inmates with their law information as well. He's blunt. He's honest. He's unconcerned with public and your opinion, and we'll tell you and show you how to defy gravity by pissing up a rope. That's right, it is none other than your favorite Tio Loco, and you can now find him at the law offices of Dale Schafer. It is none other than Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody out here in the West Coast, and good afternoon on the East Coast. This is your favorite Tio Loco. My story this morning comes out of Marijuana Moment, and it involves Nora Volkow, who's the head of NIDA. And it was written yesterday by Kyle Yeager. And the headline is Top Federal Drug Official Floats State Monopolies for Marijuana Sales to Promote Public Safety. This one caught my attention because it's just absolute fucking dribble. But This is someone's effort to try and come up with an idea here. And Nora Volkow is a psychiatrist. And as a side note, her grandfather was Leon Trotsky, who Stalin hunted down and murdered in Mexico City in 1940. I mean, before she was born, because she's younger than me. But I always find it interesting that some of these historical figures pop back up again. Now, I got to give Nora her props, because when she got into actual medicine, she went into research. She's not a practicing physician or psychiatrist. She's a research psychiatrist. And she promoted brain scans to try and identify what was going on, if anything, inside the brains of people that were drug addicted, or today we call it substance use disorder. And she found that there were actual changes in the frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, that changed the paradigm of they're just sinful people that can't stop using drugs. To, chemical changes take place in the brain, makes it very difficult to treat them. She promoted medical assisted therapies to get people off of drugs. And she has also been an advocate for changing the paradigms from criminalization of personal use to medical treatment. Those I give her the props for. But as you may know, I've been married to a physician for a very long time. She trained in psychiatry. Her dad was a psychiatrist. Her grandmother was a psychoanalyst. And when it comes to the realities of the world, they are full of shit. Because the world out there operates in a way that they have a lot of trouble wrapping their head around when they come out of medical school. And this is part of what we saw in the COVID crisis, is that these doctors turned out to be a bunch of milquetoast panty waste, that don't want to make the hard decisions based on reality. They want theoretical, if it might hurt somebody, we're going to close everything down. We don't want to go forward. There might be some public health threat here, even if it's imagined. And in reality, it's just horseshit. Because right now there is a very, very strong cannabis black market. And if you don't put that right out there when you talk about public health and public safety, you're just doing a disservice, and you're basically lying to people, okay? Now, Ginny Beth, you may be able to comment about this, but I've only been to a state alcohol monopoly store one time. It was in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We buried my grandmother there. My mom liked to drink, so we went to the state store. And Volkow saying, we should look at state monopoly alcohol stores for how they deal with public health issues. And I remember being in that store. It's like, this is like a discount liquor store. What the hell is the difference here? There's alcohol everywhere, no restrictions on what I could buy. I mean, I didn't understand what her comments about, let's look at a state alcohol monopoly store for public health benefits. It's bullshit. You can still buy alcohol. And the public health problems here, I don't know what she's talking about. I mean, it is certainly possible to take enough cannabis to be a threat driving a vehicle or operating dangerous machinery. It certainly is possible. But the best advice I've seen coming out of pharmacists is that before you drive or operate dangerous equipment taking cannabis, know what it does to you first. Not that, you're going to be a danger on the highway. Know what the effects are going to be before you do that. That's the same advice I'd give. Start low and slow. Do not take 100 milligram gummy as a brand new naive cannabis user and jump behind the wheel of a car and start driving. That's absolutely stupid. Okay. What other public health problems are we talking about with cannabis? Okay. The black market doesn't care what it puts on these products. They'll sell it to they're not tested. Even the legit market, if you want to call it that, in California, ask Elliot. What do we find out? There's shit in this stuff that is not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be tested, but guess what? It's still out there. Okay. So even the legal market didn't fix these problems. So the public health issues are exactly what? I'd like to have that defined. And personal health issues, what we're finding out now is alcohol kills, 20,000 people a year from cancer caused. The tobacco industry is 500,000. Not a single cancer death from cannabis. People are waking up to the reality that smoking weed is healthier and safer for you than drinking alcohol. Okay, so, and the younger generation is not using more weed. The prohibition, even if Volkov acknowledges the prohibitionists were wrong. It's not going to cause younger people to smoke more weed. They're not. Okay, so my impression of this was, here's another, medical bureaucrat that's so full of shit it's coming out their ears, and yet they're in charge of the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Okay, where's the reality here? Where's someone that's going to tell them, hey, stop? We have more black market weed than white market weed, if you want to call it that. And I'm not meaning to be pejorative here, but the industry's inundated with the illegal market. How do we address the illegal market? Because they don't give a shit. They'll sell to your kids. They'll sell, tainted stuff. Where's a dose of reality from these supposed intellectuals that know what they're talking about? Because in my world, and I've known physicians for a very long time, they can be very smart, but so full of shit. And I think that's what we're dealing with here. Someone who's very smart, but doesn't understand the realities of how this country works. So I'm going to throw it back at you for your comments, but this is another pile of, bureaucratic bullshit as far as I can tell.
Jenny Beth, you love to spoon feed people doses of reality. What do you think?
Well, I'm just going to, answer the portion about the state-sponsored alcohol stores, because the only ones that I've really been in were in Alabama, and they're ABC stores or whatever. They rule everything. And I don't think that that's a matter of, it's obviously not a matter of public health, but that's either a combination of we've been screaming regulate us like alcohol, and she heard that one day. But I think it's probably more about making sure that the state holds monopoly on cannabis sales. So I don't think it's about health. I think health is one of those trigger things that we use to scare people when you have all these recalls and you see this stuff going on. It's like, oh, the health, public, be scared. This is, you're going to hurt yourself. Let us, the government, because we know better, protect you from hurting yourself with the, your free will and whatever you might try to exercise.
When has the government ever done anything better?
Well,
just ask
every time they do it, just ask them. If you survey the public, you guys could fuck up a wet dream here, okay? And you do every damn day. They want to take credit for anything and everything. And, I don't know how much we can tell them that the reality is that there's a black market in weed that's proliferating. And if you want to address that, okay, you need to legalize this. Stop playing games around it. Take power away from these agencies. And let's get this done and move to other bigger problems. But, we keep arguing about nonsensical stuff here.
Yeah, very, very, very true.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised this hasn't been brought up sooner.
Are you really?
Yeah, dude, for real. I'm from
Virginia.
Yeah, I'm from Virginia. We have ABC stores, man. You can't get liquor nowhere but the ABC store run by the government. You can't get it on Sundays either. I'm just surprised that we haven't had more proposals. I'm not saying I'm for this at all, but I'm just surprised we haven't seen more proposals before now. Or government run weed.
So I've been in a couple liquor stores that are government run. I've been in liquor stores that are government run in Washington State and in New Hampshire. So and it's like they're not like I would way rather just go to a liquor store personally. Like at least those places, they have posters up. You know what I mean? It's like there's marketing and you know what I mean. These state places are pretty dull and bare.
Well, to Dale's black market comment, man, there's a reason why moonshine's still popping in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can't get liquor on Sundays. It's not like you can't get liquor after 7 p.m. every day. You just ain't gonna get it from the government-run stores.
Fair. I guess that's a good point. Oh yeah, Nick Bradley in the chat, he says Oregon also has government-run liquor stores, and I think I have been into one of those. I totally forgot about that one. Thank you so much for that, Nick.
Does Oregon have a government-run strip clubs too?
In all fairness, Oregon has some of the best strip clubs in the nation, next to 11.
They have the most per capita, if you will, in the world, Craig.
Yeah, shout out to 11. What do you got to say, Stone?
11's all right. 11's ghetto.
What's wrong with the ghetto?
Oh, man, just more of the same. These state monopolies are a guise presented as an unneeded solution to concerns over public health and safety, and it's bullshit. You'll lose a good human factor of basically they want to remove the people that know what the fuck they're doing to put in these simple state stores, which is
The guy
shit.
always knows what they're doing, Stone. Come on, man.
Stop it.
Boy.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the fucking Boof Barns and how the
Boof Barns? That'd be a good name.
Thrive.
That'd be a good name for it.
Government boof.
Come on
Goof.
down to the Boof
And
Barn.
Some goof.
they'll put limits on how much THC you can have in products. There'll be other nonsense that they try to pull here too. And then the black markets go, hey, whatever you want, we got it. You know, these stores come around the corner, we'll sell you what you want.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, on that, we're going to roll into our next commercial, and we are going to be right back, you guys. Are you a business that's suffering from the hyperinflation that is plaguing America today? We have the solution for you. That's right, Patriot Business Financing. Head on over to www.patriotbfc.com and apply for a loan up to $2 million. Any state, any industry, even the cannabis industry, the CBD industry, as well as the industrial hemp fiber industry. Secure up to $2 million today, and make sure that when you apply, you tell Paul you said hi from High at 9. And we are back, you guys. Man, oh man. You good, Rico? Oh, stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you smash that like button. I know you'll appreciate it. We'll appreciate it. And YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. Are you all ready for America's new #1 D9 gummy line? That's right. We are bringing to you Parody Gummy. These vegan gummies are manufactured in a safe harbor facility, so you know they're going to be clean and safe, and they're not going to give you any of the runaround. Coming in, we have 3 amazing flavors for you. We have the Raspberry Riots. Also, we have the Sleepy Joes if you need something to help you sleep at night. And if you're feeling like raging and having a party time, that's right, we have the Pineapple Bad Hombre. If you're feeling like a bad hombre, make sure you head over to www.parodygummy.com and secure your bag today. And we are back, Rico.
Oh, yeah. Gas station Delta 8 is the new norm in the great purple state of Texas, but that's low-level shit. And our next correspondent decided it's time for him to hit the high road. And he's coming straight out of the great city of ATX, Jason Beck.
It's Austin, bro. It's Austin. It's
coming
Austin.
to deliver
Stop disrespecting that town.
Coming to deliver the next story is none other than Stone Slade.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you, sir. My story is going to stay in Texas, actually, a little bit. We're going to go to the 3rd largest city in Texas, and this growing purple state, as Jason loves to embrace.
Yep.
It's not purple. It's not purple. It's bright red, bro.
It's purple, just in the big cities.
It's bright red.
When we reported on Dallas taking steps towards decriminalizing cannabis. Well, now it's official. Last November, voters passed the Dallas Freedom Act with 67% in favor. That's not just a slim majority. It's a landslide of Texans in the state's 3rd largest city, saying that we're done wasting time and money over a plant. What does the act do? Well, if you're caught up with up to 4 ounces of cannabis, Dallas police can't ticket you or arrest you anymore. They also can't use the smell of cannabis as an excuse to search your car unless they're investigating a violent felony or real drugs. And if you ask me, that sounds like common sense has finally caught up with reality. After all, people shouldn't lose their jobs, homes, or their freedoms over a couple joints. But as we all know, cannabis is still illegal in Texas. Possession of less than 2 ounces is a Class B misdemeanor and punishable by up to 180 days in jail. 2 to 4 ounces, that's a Class A misdemeanor, which can earn you up to a year in jail. And the Dallas Freedom Act doesn't change the law itself. It just changes how the city chooses to enforce it. And that technicality is precisely why the resident turd burglar, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, is suing Dallas. Paxton's argument is simple. Cities can't make their own rules when it comes to state law. He says The city of Dallas has no authority to override Texas's drug laws or prohibit the police from enforcing them. And he's not just picking on Dallas. As we've reported before, at least 5 other cities in Texas are facing similar lawsuits. It seems Paxton is more worried about the principle of local control than the practical beliefs of keeping non-violent cannabis users out of jail. Now, let's talk about the state's so-called medical cannabis program, the Texas Compassionate Use Act, which first passed in 2015. At the time, it was only allowed low THC cannabis oil for patients with intractable epilepsy, and I do mean low, less than 1% THC. Since then, they've expanded to include other conditions such as multiple sclerosis, cancer, PTSD, and autism. But let's be honest, it's still one of the most restrictive programs in the country. If you live in Texas and need medical cannabis, you can't just walk into a dispensary like you would in most other states. There's only a handful of licensed providers in the entire state, and you need a doctor's approval and qualifying condition to get that golden ticket. Even then, you're not getting the same options or potency that you'd find in legal states. And that's where this all starts to feel a little bit absurd. The same state that tells patients suffering from incurable neurodegenerative diseases that can only be used, that they can only use the weakest form, is suing Dallas for letting people off the hook for possession. Meanwhile, you can walk into a store or a gas station and buy hemp-derived Delta 8 THC products that will give you practically the same experience as traditional cannabis, and it's completely legal for now because, as we've also reported, instead of regulating and testing the Texas hemp market to make it safer, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and company are focused on shutting it down altogether, hoping the problem will disappear if they close the loophole. What's happening in Dallas isn't just about local law versus state law. It's about whether you're willing to look at facts instead of clinging to outdated fears. Voters in Dallas seem ready for a new approach. The state, not so much. But until Texas stops trying to split hairs over 2 versions of the same plant, we'll keep having the same tired argument. And really, doesn't it seem ridiculous in 2025? We're still fighting about whether the plant is a medicine, a menace, or just another crop. I'm Stone Slade for the High at 9 News.
Oh man, great story, Stone, man. Right out of Texas, you know what I'm saying? These guys.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah, go.
You know what's crazy about Ken Paxton, man?
What's that?
He want to sue motherfuckers that want to do their own thing, that want their own freedom, and he should be one to speak, man. He don't follow nobody's rules. All the shit that he did before he got in office, and now he's suing absolutely everybody.
Well, I think it's because Dan Patrick isn't a real Texan. He's originally from Maryland.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's your boy's boy. Your boy's boy is your girl, right?
I mean, hey, I didn't vote for him. Don't blame me.
Terrible people, terrible prohibitionist people in office.
Yeah,
This reminds me of Dan Lundgren button heads with Dennis Perone. Alan Ann and guys like that.
Yep.
Because he's right that when you have a statewide law, you don't always allow the locals to change it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to run for sheriff, or you're going to run for police chief or district attorney or whatever in Dallas, and you're stumping that, hey, I'm not going to prosecute people for smoking weed, for having small amounts, and you get elected, you accomplish the same thing. So he may get a Pyrrhic victory that, oh, you can't change these laws, but if the cops aren't arresting you and they're not prosecuting you, you accomplish the same damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is Dale Lundgren, is he related to Dolph Lundgren?
No, not even close, bro. Not even close. They don't even look close to alike.
I will crush you.
Yeah. No, I'd say, Dan Patrick is, he's a rhino Republican in name only. You know what I mean? This is not.
Stop it.
Straight up, bro. He's not about freedom. He's not about liberty. He's about prohibition.
That is a minority position in the pro-Trump world.
There's no minority. Stop it, ridiculous, bro. You're just gaslighting people.
They love
Dan Patrick and what's his name? Ken Paxton. Those are 2 of Trump's boys in Texas. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, they can be his boy. They can be his boy all they want. But if he's a prohibitionist in this type of stance, he's not about freedom and he's not about liberty. So that is the definition of a rhino as well.
That you won't say it to his face.
I'll 100% say it to his face, no problem.
get on video.
After he takes a picture, Rico. After he gets a picture.
I know. After he gets his picture.
I would probably take a picture too. Yeah, straight up. Yeah, no fronts. Yeah, no cap. Yeah, I would probably take a picture too.
I need it before and after.
Yeah, you know, maybe I'll mention it to him while we're taking the picture, and then that way we can, you know, because they usually snap a few different frames, we can see if there's any change in his facial expression. What do you think, Rico?
You're gonna mumble it under your breath. He's
no, I don't need to mumble, bro. My name's not mumble. Stop the ridiculousness.
SoundCloud.
I speak truth.
Hands around Jason's neck, right? After he says that.
That'd be awesome, bro, because then it'd be assaulting a disabled guy, and that'll be really great for the press.
Oh, Jason Beck is the Drake of the cannabis industry. Lawsuit coming.
Oh man, you guys. What do you got to say, Jenny? I see you eye rolling.
I'd say to, but also, I mean, like once again, here we go, Texas. I think it's interesting because we lean so hard on states' rights when they're deciding on whether to allow cannabis or not, and then in the states where we do have cannabis allowed and policies in place, they defer to the municipalities to decide how each municipality wants to handle that. So it's really interesting in these prohibitionist states how they do not defer to their municipal governments at all, even when they're saying, hey, this isn't what our constituents want. So I don't know what the path forward is for Texas other than to get some new leadership.
And Rachelle, I mean, Kurt sells a lot of different hemp products. What do you two think about all this?
I mean, without the hemp market, my husband probably wouldn't have a job. So, so I'm very biased, you know, but I understand all sides of the debate, right?
Really?
But if we could just have some common sense regulation and level the playing field, you know, it's kind of like your earlier story about the liquor stores. It's like, we're very used to buying weed at the liquor store in Minnesota, right? It's like, just give people options, give them what they want.
Interesting. They got a lot of marijuana liquor sales, huh? Interesting. A lot of crossfading going on.
All the crossfading.
Interesting. Oh man.
Well, but that's the way it's supposed to work. Our 10th Amendment gives the states police powers that are not given to the federal government, and the federal government's took power under Commerce Clause for this, which I think is horseshit. But the states are supposed to be the great experiments out there and figure problems out and leave them alone. I mean, they can ban it or they can legalize it, keep the federal government out of it. And I think that's a battle we need to fight and win. And I'm hoping that the new Department of Justice coming in will go after that particular problem and take some of this away from the power of the federal government, give it back to the state.
Laboratories of democracy. You're right about that, Dale. And on that, we're going to go into the lab and with our final commercial, and we're going to be right back. Oh man, and we're back, you guys. We are back. We are gonna roll right in to Rachelle Gordon, who is fresh and back from a brand new vacation out in the great islands of Jamaica, living that island life, Jaman. You know what I mean? That's right. It is none other than the editor of Green State herself, Miss Rachelle Gordon.
Thank you. Yes, I'm kind of glad to be back, although it's freezing. But Jamaica was great. I do want to do a little show and tell. I was able to meet up with some Rastas there, and I got an authentic chalice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really interesting to learn about the chalice and how they use it. You can steam the cannabis. But like charred coconut, kind of like charcoal here.
Yeah.
And
what part of Jamaica did you go to?
So we were staying at Coral Cove Wellness Resort in Little Bay, which is about 30 minutes south of Negril, which is a sleepy beach resort town. Very cool. We had an awesome time. Can't wait to go back. Highly recommend it if anybody's been thinking about checking out Coral Cove. Definitely worth the trip. They have great cannabis, great people, wonderful times. But while I was there, it was very difficult to have fun and post pics, knowing what was going on in Southern California with all the wildfires and everything, and seeing so many of my friends and our colleagues scared and in danger. So while I was there, I vowed to do something on Green State. And so I put out a piece yesterday about how the weed world is helping fire relief and how you can be a part of it. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and read the whole article. It's kind of long. I just wanted to point out some of the different things that are happening and the different brands and companies who are supporting fire. So in terms of the different dispensaries that have become kind of drop-off sites for donations, Catalyst dispensary is a big one.
Shout out to Catalyst.
Shout out Catalyst. Those guys are just like, they've been mobilizing since the very start. THC Design, a brand, they teamed up with Planet 13, Wonder Bread, and Relief Stores for a community drive. They're asking for non-perishable food, bottled water, toiletries, other essentials. Sweet Flower is actually offering a $10 gift card to customers who bring supply donations to their stores. Smoke Show, which is a consulting firm and apparel brand, they're doing a clothing drive with Best Friend's House and JoJo Snaps. And then Embark, they're actually asking people specifically to bring in hygiene products, baby diapers, wipes, and new children's toys to help victims of the tragedy, the kiddos. They're also launching, as you all know, a huge fundraising campaign dubbed the United Cannabis Community Fire Relief Fund, with the goal to create a centralized hub for collective impact. Embark began the campaign with an initial donation of $16,000. The funds are going toward World Central Kitchen, an organization providing free hot meals to first responders and the public. And then other companies that are tapping in, Cornerstone Wellness in Eagle Rock, they're launching a fire relief compassion program, offering 1 penny products to customers affected by the devastation. Helping their fellow cannabis companies, ACS Laboratory is offering special terms and pricing for California operators who may have been affected by the fires. Also, if you're looking for other places to donate online, maybe you're not in the LA area, Jackie Bryant, cannabis journalist and author of Cannabis, she gathered an extensive yet easy to navigate list of reputable resources. That's reputable resources. Unfortunately, there are scammers out there trying to take advantage of this. She also outlined how residents locally can apply for federal disaster funds, which can actually be quite difficult. American Weed Company, they're donating profits from gummy and apparel sales for the next month to the LA Fire Department. Puffco, their latest merch drop, will see 100% of proceeds go toward 3 different organizations involved in fire relief. That's the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, LA Regional Food Bank, and National Day Labor Organizing Network. Lots of other stuff, cool stuff happening. So one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing is 40 Tons, which is a justice-minded brand. They want to support the incarcerated firefighters who are literally fighting this battle for no pay and doing some of the most dangerous jobs. They're trying to gather a list of participants to raise funds for their jail accounts and canteens so we can reward these heroes for all the work they're doing. And then one big reminder from folks that I spoke with, organizers on the ground, they said that it's one thing to post in your social media. They said it's one thing to make a financial donation right now. Keep in mind that the relief efforts are going to last a lot longer than the public consciousness will, right? We're all going to be off to the next shiny thing in the media, whatever it is. And these people are going to need help for a long time. So keep them in your thoughts, continue to reach out, continue to support them for months down the road because they're going to need it. But overall, really proud of the cannabis community. A lot of cannabis operators in SoCal have been affected. They've lost their homes, they've lost business, and they don't have the same insurance opportunities like a lot of regular businesses do. And despite that, they're still coming together to try to help one another. So way to go, cannabis community. Hope you're all staying safe down there. I'm glad to see you all mobilizing.
Oh,
Thank you so much
for a great story,
Rachelle. This is fantastic.
A little feel-good story right there.
Yeah, I love how it bolsters my point that I've been making since last week. Like, cannabis industry is always first to step up, no questions asked, and unite in times of crisis, and we continue to lead in that fraction. Everybody else is talking all that political bullshit, pointing fingers. When you can get out there and help, do what the fuck you can to help people in need. Period.
Yeah, I think it's been really encouraging to see how everybody in SoCal is mobilized, right? I've seen things from bars, I've seen things from, restaurants. They're all donating food. They're like, we're taking food donations so that we can go cook and we can take people meals. I've seen hotels like, shout out Petite Hermitage. That's great ownership and a great spot. Like, providing free stays for firefighters who need like some reprieve, who need to lay down, get some rest, take a shower. I think it's really interesting the way California handles incarcerated firefighters. So the way that works is it's like, I don't know, for those of you who haven't been to jail, being a trustee was a whole lot better than sitting in your fucking cell and doing all stuff all day, right? So that is like a level of trust. And the only cool part about this in California is because they're not really paid. They get like $10.42 a day, I believe it is. But they do only serve at that point. Once you get to go to fire camp, you are now serving 33% of your sentence, which is a huge reduction for people, right? So, I mean, it's still insane. They should be getting actual pay. If you're going to have people do an actual job, they should be getting the actual pay that they deserve for doing something that's life-threatening. But also give them a pathway to actually become a firefighter when they get out, right? So allow them to actually take that career training and turn it into a career that will serve them going forward. So it's, there are ups and downs. I don't think that they do enough for those guys, but I'd probably take 33% off my sentence if I could.
Yeah, 100%. Not to mention if you're getting paid, if you're getting paid $10.48 a day, Jenny Beth, then and you're out working all day. By the time you get back, you got plenty to make a spread with pretty much every single day of the week. You know what I mean? Because a soup is only $1.
Right. I think it's
I'm just saying.
I think Jason, cool. I'm going in because they're sending them to do the dangerous stuff, right? So like those are the guys that are going in with the chainsaws that are clearing. They're not necessarily the ones standing there holding hoses. So like when you see the guys in orange climbing the side of the mountain with the big giant chainsaws in their hands. And it's also fair to acknowledge that it's not just adult incarcerated populations, right? They use the teenagers that are in the youth situations
juvenile
as
halls.
Well to go out and work. So
I think the most part important part to me about your story that you read, Rachelle, was the fact that these people are going to be hurting for a long time. I asked in the comments, Hawaiian Sustainable, because they always I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but they always give us updates on Maui. I was like, what's the progress on Maui? And they said that it's still gone in the worst fire in U.S. history. Homelessness is at an all-time high. No justice. But because we live and die by this modern 24-hour news cycle, it's whatever's next, right? So like these people are going to be hurting for a long time. It's not just these rich-ass celebrities that can just pop another house up somewhere else. These are local folks, and if you care about your community, you want to see less homelessness, you want to see less crime. Like this is the bullshit that turns people to lives of crime after they've been living the straight and narrow. They do everything they can to live within the system. They follow all the rules, and all of a sudden, society throws them the fuck away. Right? If you can do what you can to help 1-2 people, guess what? Like there's going to be long-term positive repercussions from that shit. Right? So if you any little piece of whatever you can do it, man. Help somebody out. You'll be saving lives down the line.
The Altadena fire displaced so many people that have been there for generations, but not just that. Like looking at the Palisades, like, you might live in a $4 million home in the Palisades, but your grandma bought it way back when for $200,000. So you're paying property taxes on that amount, not on the actual value of what it's grown to now, right? So, and you're also dealing with the fact that you might be able to live there now, but you can't afford to rebuild there, so you don't get to go back. You have nowhere to go. I think we need to be very aware of this, and shout out to the Biden administration for once again, $770. Oh, kiss my ass, dude. $700 to the people in North Carolina. Yeah. Like, has anybody checked on North Carolina lately? Because they're still living in their own provided RVs.
Let's keep
let me finish.
The politics out of it, though.
Well, easy there. Let her finish. Let her finish.
So disrespectful. Like our federal government is not doing enough. So we need to step up as people who can, because if you look at North Carolina, we still have people living in tents and in RVs that they had to supply themselves. There's no FEMA trailers. There's no provision for them. No one's doing anything for them. So nobody's coming to save them. So I'm glad to see cannabis companies. I'm glad to see regular companies. I'm glad to see neighbors, and I'm glad to see people stepping up. Because once again, daddy government is not coming to fucking save you. I don't give a shit who it is.
Yep, because they sent all that money to Ukraine and not to spend on the U.S. citizens.
And then thank you for saying government, but let's keep the left and the right out of it, because both of them fuck shit up, and both of them make us go against each other and go at each other's necks, blaming whoever is if they're blue or red in charge.
The left's in charge right now. The left's in charge right now.
They all fuck.
They got a couple days left. Just a couple days left. Thank God. Can't wait.
No, man. Just
the insurance problems here are going to be with us for decades. I mean, California is suffering hemorrhaging of insurance companies that don't want to write these policies because we live in a tinderbox out here.
Yeah,
and a bunch of them were canceled over the last 6 months to a year.
I know of over 1,200 policies, Dale.
Yeah, well, we haven't even hit a soft landing yet. The first goal in something like this is to give people a place they can land. Get their kids to stop crying, to give them some food, find a place to live. And they're already gouging. I hope that the DA of LA actually goes after some. Fuck public shaming these people. Put them in jail. You have a house and it goes from $1,500 to $2,500 or $3,000 because you can. You should go to jail. That's gouging. That's a problem.
I'm totally with you.
The gentrification that took place in Palisades and Altadena over time, these folks that live there, that's their world. They're never going to be able to go back. And the CEQA problems here in California, I've been dealing with CEQA now for years trying to build cannabis businesses, and you're not going to get shit built out here in California because of CEQA. It's just not. It's going to be a disaster for a generation here, and it'll be Lahaina up on those hillsides for 10 years.
You're so right about that,
Well,
Dale.
and not just CEQA. The Coastal Commission, when you're looking at rebuilding Malibu and looking at rebuilding everything on the PCH. And so allegedly they're going to be rubber stamping through CEQA and the Coastal Commission. They say that now, but I bet you it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jenny Beth. I'm 100% in agreement with you on that. Yeah, they're gonna just screw everything up and make life miserable for people.
And if they do, I could see them saying, "Hey, fuck the surveys a little bit." Somebody's gonna push back about that, because one of the reasons we didn't have water in one of those reservoirs was because we were protecting a freaking fish. So I don't see this working out in the way that it's supposed to. And if it does, I guarantee you all those permitting fees are still going to have to be paid, even if it doesn't take you the same year and a half, 2 years, whatever all your surveys are, because now that everything's burnt up, they're going to be like, oh, we have to wait and see what comes back so we can see what native plant species are actually there, because you have to have, when you're doing CEQA, for those of you that haven't built out facilities, I did one in Inyo County that was the most frustrating shit ever. It was completely empty, completely desert, backed by BLM land, right? Also barren and bullshit, like terrible, terrible arid situation. But you have to have a bloom. We've had 0 rain in SoCal this year. Guess what we probably won't have much of? A natural bloom season in those areas where they're going to need to do those surveys. So then you have to wait until the next year. So hopefully they are actually going to push through and not make all those requirements stand when we're looking at somewhere that has already been there. But like, we just had a landslide that split a house in half in Palisades yesterday that wasn't destroyed by the fire. So there's been so many topographical changes in that area that I don't think that the government is actually going to look at it and be like, hey, we can forego these requirements because whatever, because now the landscape has changed. So it's going to be a mess. Everybody just do the best you fucking can. And, I said what I said, so I take nothing back that I said today.
I'm with that, Jenny Beth.
Get it, girl. Jenny Beth. Wait till it rains down here in Southern California after all these hillsides are deprived of vegetation.
Yep.
Slides and floods.
You're going to have to insure that kind of a loss too.
Yep.
Yep. Well, Rico, you might as well just go in and introduce Jenny Beth now, Rico.
Yeah. Coming through with our last story of the day. She is the founder of Kind Cannabis Consulting, Justice Serve 401s.
501c3. 401. It's funny. 401k, bro. 401k. You're missing. Yeah.
501c3, and she may or may not have on some Levi's 501 jeans. Here to end us out and close the show out today is none other than Jenny Beth Dills. What you got for us today, Jenny Beth?
Sweatpants. That's what I got for you today because I'm fucking tired. So, sweatpants. So this is an update on a story out of Ohio. Michigan. In a disturbing case out of Pontiac, Michigan, 3 suspects have been arrested and charged in the execution-style killing of a marijuana business owner. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office says 66-year-old Sam Simcoe.
You gotta raise your camera a little, Jenny. Raise your camera a little. There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
You see me? More me?
Okay. Way better. Way better.
Right, amazing. resident and co-owner of a marijuana grow business, was killed during an armed robbery at his Pontiac facility on Monday. Authorities say Simcoe had let one suspect, William Creasy, into the business. Creasy allegedly held the door open for two others, Deontay Profit and Scott Brown, both armed and wearing masks and gloves. Once inside, the suspects reportedly fatally shot Simcoe, zip-tied him, and placed a bag over his head. Whew. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard called the incident a cautionary tale for marijuana businesses, which often attract criminals because of cash and drugs. However, no cash was in the store at the time. The suspects fled with about 50 pounds of marijuana. An investigation spanning multiple agencies in Michigan and Ohio led to the arrest. Creasy and Brown were taken into custody on January 14th in Cincinnati, while Profit was arrested the following day. Charges include felony murder, armed robbery, and weapons offenses. A .45 caliber handgun believed to be the murder weapon was also recovered. Sheriff Bouchard praised the coordinated effort, which involved over 50 law enforcement officers from Detroit and Cincinnati ATF offices, the Oakland County Sheriff's Fugitive Apprehension Team, and more. The suspects are waiting extradition to Michigan as the investigation continues. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. Super sad story, but definitely a cautionary tale, you guys. Like, you can't just let people up in your business. And I feel like there's been this guise of safety, and this guy's 66 years old. So, like, who knows if he's been doing this for a long time or if he just got here and he was like, oh, they're nice guys. They just want to go buy some weed from me. They might not be nice guys that just want to buy weed from you. It could turn out very terribly. This is not the first time that I've heard of somebody coming to patronize a company, especially a wholesale facility or a distro or something, and you let one person in and they let in everybody that's waiting in the car, and you see situations like this happen. So this is like really brutal. I can't imagine like shooting someone and then zip tying them and then, you know, putting a bag over their head. Like, this is just like so inhumane. So actually applaud those coordinated efforts from the police. So one time the police can get a shout out from me, because they got these guys really fucking quickly. And I'm sure that it's due to how gruesome those actions were. Like, that's just absolutely disgusting. So I'll throw it back to you guys, but not a happy story.
No.
It's very sad. Did they say which dispensary that he owned?
It was a cultivation.
That was cultivation.
Wow. Wow. And these guys met at the hash bash, it said in this article. Am I right about that, Jenny?
I'd have to go back and look. I didn't read the whole article. Obviously, you guys can go back and read it. But yeah, I mean, like, not everybody's a cool guy.
Yeah.
You know, you may not be getting your fucking profits from the legal side of the market, but when you bring trappers into your licensed facilities, you're opening yourself up for these kind of things. Like, how do they know where these licensed facilities are? Like, look in California, after we stopped listing the address of distros and stuff like that because of all the robberies that happened during COVID, how do people know where to find them? Well, they know where to find them because, one, either your security guard or somebody who works there told them, or you've let them come through your facility. Like, that's why when I see facilities doing, come facility tour, fuck no, get the fuck out of my facility. I don't need you mapping out what the inside of my cultivation or distro looks like because you wanted to see the inside of something, and now you know where all the doors are, you know where the cameras are, you've seen everything you needed to see. You can figure out if you're going to come through my roof, which people do all the time. No, it's not cute. Also for, you know, IPEM reasons, you also don't want people in your fucking facility, but like, just, this is a regulated industry. There's reasons why there's secured access areas. There's like common sense reasons. Like, I'm not going to let the nice guy up the street who's like, hey, let me see what the inside of your house looks like, make his way through my house and see where my everything is. Like, you guys need to be smarter with this. And it's really sad that this guy lost his life, but hopefully this is a cautionary tale and other people don't as a result.
Yep.
Stay woke, man.
I tell my clients, I don't trust anybody in this industry. Period. Full stop. And beyond that, let's do some background checks. And, you know, people want, come take a look at this and everything's cool. No, until they show up and rob you. Because I've had clients that had inside jobs. Somebody showed up with the punch code to the fence, opened the fence, and they go, that's an inside job. And, you know, some of them even shot back because the cops wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
We need to be treated more like we're real businesses, and this is not like soft crime. But when you brutally murder somebody, it gets their attention. You have to do something about it. And it's just tragic. This guy got a cap popped in his ass, tied up in a bag over his head. I mean, that's really cold. I don't think the mafia does that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's definitely a super disturbing case. And
Dale, I don't know why they weren't weren't charged with false imprisonment too, because once they zip tied that guy, whether they did it when he was dead or alive, I think that should have also been thrown in there, right?
Mm-hmm. And
kidnapping, something.
We'll have to wait and see. I don't know whether they filed a criminal complaint or they went and got an indictment. But a complaint gets them arrested and then extradited back to Michigan. But then you can go in and seek an indictment and add whatever you need to. And these guys, I mean, they need the hot shot. This is the kind of stuff where you need to be. This is it. You just sacrificed your time on this planet. You're gone.
Exactly. And our thoughts and prayers out to the families of the victims of these individuals, because this is just a super tragedy. And so our hearts and prayers are out to the families for sure.
Absolutely. It's a sobering reminder of, you know, this industry is still illegal, man. You have a lot of folks that want to target us, and it doesn't matter how much good you do in the community, man. There's still some fucked up people out there. You don't know their situation, so you got to stay. I always say,
be careful,
stay strapped.
Keep your circle tight.
I always say, stay strapped. If you're not a gun user or whatever, make sure you got people around you that are.
Yep, that's facts. That's facts.
And 50 pounds is like not. I mean, this guy lost his life for what, like $75,000?
Probably not even that. Probably not even that.
But the cops tell us $2 million.
Oh, of course, because everything to them is 25 a gram plus.
No, it ain't worth your life.
Definitely not. All right, Rico.
All right, man.
Let's wrap it. Let's wrap this thing up. Put a bow on it, and you know what I'm saying.
Yes, sobering story to end the day on, but the sun's still shining for us. I'm glad to have everybody here to enjoy the news with us. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of High 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans getting their comments posted live on the big screen, announced by the team. Do we have anybody today, Jason?
No super chats today from what I said today. Unfortunate, but it's all good. It is what it is. Maybe tomorrow. Yes.
Big love to that live audience, the chat room, online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners. We have Anthony behind the scenes today.
Anthony in the back, man, did fucking amazing today, bro. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yes.
To a minimum. As always, Cannabis TV, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you, too. It has been Thursday, January 16, 2025. The show is over. We've all been blessed with the top industry headlines of the day. And hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, America's #1 daily news show. And today we're going to pop things out to... lady just came back from the land of Ja.
Yeah.
Rachelle Gordon, what you got for these good people today?
Peace and love, friends. And get yourself down to Jamaica. The people are great. The weed is great. Great vibes all around. It's worth it.
Did you make it to the Blue Hole, Rachelle?
Yeah, that's where I got the chalice, my man.
I love it. Shout out to the people over there at the Blue Hole, man. That's one of the most amazing times, man. And then we can go to Jamaica. Make sure you check that place out. They have a great farm. And did you jump in the hole?
I was too scared. Kurt jumped. We did do a whole tour. We hiked up the mountain. So stay tuned for content on Green State from the Blue Hole coming soon.
Oh, I can't wait to check this out. That is going to be fantastic. I jumped in the hole. Yeah. Oh man, it's great. They have these little fish down there that like eat all the dead skin off your body. It's like a little exfoliation thing. It's pretty cool. It's an exfoliation day, you know what I mean? I'm all about the microderma, bro. Bro, you have no clue. All right, we out.